let us try to refresh ourselves. Green is not Nick is a man not directly involved in the Supermega drama. As in, he wasn't part of Supermega. He doesn't have any allegations of his own as far as I'm aware. However, he was friends with the Lex girl. And he put out a video where he was like, I'm helping Lex because she's my friend, blah, blah, blah. If I remember correctly, he said some bizarre things. Recently, Supermega said some other stuff. We should probably look that up. And now, maybe because of that, this guy, this Green is not Nick guy, has his own lil video. Perhaps he'll explain. He's got to contextualize, right? He's got to contextualize, right? Come on. Come on. I remember him saying some bizarre contradictory things. God, it's been so long. You can check out his original video and my analysis of it on the YouTube. But it's been a long ass time. Wait, this guy did more than one Supermega video besides this? I don't remember that shit. It does look like he's beefing. Because on the top right, which you cannot see, there's like Gokamaru, and then there was a Destiny clip, and then some other stuff as well. Who is this guy? This is a guy who was aiding Lex. Why do I want to say Lex Fridman? That's someone else entirely. What's the last name of the Lex person? Yes! This is the guy who said, oh, Lex Updog, that's the one. She never said they made her homeless. And then I could look into the original video and she literally says they made me homeless. So, that's the caliber of, what you call him? Personal propagandist? Simpagandist? We're dealing with. Anyway, I don't know how deep in I need to go. I don't know how deep I need to go into this. Like, Lex Updog was a lady who worked for Supermega in some capacity, kind of. I don't think I even remember what she even did for them. Another guy who worked for them, she alleged, brutally sexually assaulted her. The guy she accused said, no, it was just an awkward thing and it was a misunderstanding. Whatever. Supermega let her stay in their place for a long-ass time before eventually getting her to leave. And then she teams up with some other chuckle fucks to try and take Supermega down and say insane shit. However, this guy had no direct involvement, but is a friend of this girl who made these accusations. Including, that Supermega was covering up what she said happened. Things like that. So this is a white knight for a girlfriend. Not a girlfriend, a friend who is a girl. And a lot of people didn't like it, and now he's doing another video after a significant amount of time. And I don't know what he's going to say. I don't have any spoilers on this. So, yeah, he commented on Supermega's response. I don't think I bothered with that whatsoever. And then his initial video was when Lex Updog dropped hers. His own subreddit hates him now. The comments on this are very interesting. We'll see how fun this is to watch. It might not be very fun, but based on my previous experience of this guy, I feel like there's a good chance it will be very fun. We'll see. The comments, like I said, I've been a fan of yours for so long, but this video let me down in a way I can't even begin to describe. Reading that Twitter post brought me to tears. Death sentence. Sincerely typing this sentence? Death. And seeing that you can't even properly apologize for falsely reporting and sending unwarranted hate by deflecting and speculating about their motives with nothing to back it up, it's extremely upsetting. How can someone who made hours worth of videos asking these two guys to take accountability refuse to take accountability so blatantly? Take accountability. Take accountability. Yo, who knew? Who knew that when you're like deliberate shitstorm brewer that can flip on you. Who knew? Okay, let's go from scratch.
Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today is a very special episode, not only because I am back in my office and I am home from tour, but also because today's drama that I'm talking about has to do personally with me in regards to my coverage on the Supermega story that happened a few months ago on my channel. And
interesting. Like, I know he's just talking, right? I know he's just talking, yeah? But strictly, there being a problem with your coverage of something, that shouldn't be a personal problem. That shouldn't be the same as it having personally to do with you. But it's also accurate given his reason for covering it the way he did and his relationships.
On many other places on the internet. If you're a regular viewer of my channel, you probably know what's going on and at least some of what has been said about me and others in the comments of my video, but I know that most of you are probably very confused right now, so I'll catch you up. Now, I wanted to talk about this sooner, but I was afraid that bringing it up would cause even more harassment against myself and the people around me and others in this situation, but because of...
Right. Okay, dude. He's a hero? He's a hero for not talking about what he's already said?
Of just how bad it has really gotten, I want to publicly and fully explain my perspective and try to resolve it in the best way I can. A few months ago, I made two different videos about a controversy that happened with a YouTube channel by the name of Supermega. The controversy revolved around a sexual assault that happened to an artist and a friend of Supermega's.
Allegedly, brother. Allegedly happened.
By another one of their close friends who also worked for the channel. Both people were highly associated with Supermega, and the actual instance of the sexual assault happened under Matt Watson's roof. Now, the artist who was sexually assaulted made a video months after this incident.
It still is weird to me how much focus there is on, like, they've gone directly for the biggest people who have any involvement. It's weird how little of it was against the alleged brutal rapist. Still, that's so weird to me.
Detailing what happened between her, Don, her assaulter, and the rest of the Supermega team. Now, Lex, the artist at the center of the story, is dating a close friend of mine who you are all familiar with. That would be Ethan is online. Lex posted her story, and I was asked by her and Ethan to potentially talk about it on my channel because I've talked about similar situations in the past.
Did he say this before? Was it always like this that the two of them asked him to? I thought it was his connection to Lex. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's been so long. I knew it was a personal connection, and he said he was asked to do it, but didn't realize it was both of them.
Watched her video, and a few days later, I posted a video covering everything she said in the video, including the reports of two other people who spoke out about Supermega, one of them being a former employee of theirs who used to be friends with Ethan and Lex at the time of her video releasing. Now, after I released this...
At the time of her video going up, this guy used to be their friend. Does he mean Leighton? Oh, have they disowned or disavowed Leighton? Not likely, Bunny, because that's gonna be retreading the hell out of all the stuff I've already seen. If I wanted to, I'm not gonna do a recap. I don't remember, but at the same time, I don't want to remember. Essentially.
Initial video, Supermega released two videos detailing their side of the story where they admitted their faults in a lot of areas, but also provided evidence as to why they believed that a lot of these claims were made in bad faith to hurt their channel, specifically targeting Leighton's response as a highly falsified story that could not be trusted. Now, in one of these videos, Matt Watson claimed that a lot of these channels speaking out against them were directly tied to Leighton, and even made the false claim that I am close friends with Leighton, pushing the narrative that he was just a disgruntled ex-employee who orchestrated these people to speak out negatively against Supermega and ruin their career. Now, I want to expand on my feelings on Leighton and the way that I think he hurt Lex's story and the reputation of so many people around him, but I will come back around to it after my summary. A major point of Supermega's videos also focused on comments made by Lex and Leighton about Matt and Ryan's late friend Daniel, who took his life several years ago. Specifically, Lex and Leighton made claims about hearing Matt and Ryan call Daniel a coward, among many other things, and talked about how it changed the way they looked at Supermega. But in their response, Matt and Ryan talk about how their feelings of grief around their late friend should not have been a part of Lex and Leighton's statements, and they felt like it was extremely inappropriate to bring this up and use it against them. Now, I believe this part is important here, and I will be expanding on it later in the video, but I just want to make it clear that Daniel should not have been mentioned in anyone's videos about this.
How is he so fucking slow? This is scripted, right? Why is your script so slow? I also want to double check something. Do I want to double check it? I want to check if, one, they said he was close friends with Leighton, and two, if there's no connection. Wasn't the deal? So there's an indirect connection, obviously. Like, I think the key is he was asked by Lex and Ethan to do it. Lex was talking with Leighton about doing this. It doesn't really matter if he personally is close friends with Leighton. Leighton's influence is there in getting him to do the video.
Situation, including Lex, because it was a part.
My memory is that he did it because Lex wanted him to. I'd need to double check, but in this one, he says Ethan and Lex asked him to. How tough is this gonna be to
Hey everyone.
It's gonna be in this, right? Let me transcript pill. What would the phrasing be? That's a lot of Lexes. Make is 50 fucking... I just made my video because a disgruntled ex-employee told me to. Does Matt think that's all it takes to get me to make a video about something? I withdraw with a schedule, keep from audience. I don't make videos for personal vendettas. I don't see how in this situation I'm possibly capitalizing off a victim's story. I think Matt does a lot of interesting points in his apology that we'll talk about. Right. There's somewhere here. My intention in this video was only to tell Lex's story. I want to see if he says Lex asked me to. Ah! I'm not a close friend of Leighton's. I've only hung out with him a couple of times. So he's hung out with Leighton, and it was always in a social setting. Yeah, where else would you hang out with him? And when Lex was preparing her story, I was given permission. I was given permission by her to cover it. It was never something that I suggested to Lex, but when she mentioned it, I decided to share her story because she's a friend. That is significantly different.
And when Lex was preparing her story, I was given permission by her to cover it. It was never something that I suggested to Lex, but when she mentioned it, I decided to share her story because she's a friend of mine. I'm not trying to capitalize off of...
Lex gave him permission versus...
Now, Lex, the artist at the center of the story, is dating a close friend of mine who you are all...
Why aren't you calling Lex a friend? In the previous video, you said you did it because Lex is your friend. Now it's about her boyfriend being your friend, which obviously is true. You make music together and stuff, but...
familiar with, that would be Ethan is online. Lex posted her story, and I was asked by her and Ethan to potentially talk about it on my channel.
That's way different, dude. She told me about it and I got permission. Versus her and Ethan asked me to make a video. That's quite fucking different. That's a lot different. That's different people involved. And that's a different way it happened. That they actively wanted you to do it, rather than mentioning that they were making this and you got permission to do it. What a weird fucking rat weasel guy. He didn't even need to change that. Why would he need to change that?
After my summary. A major point of Supermega's videos also focused on comments made by Lex and Leighton about Matt and Ryan's late friend Daniel and Leighton's statement.
Let's get back to where we were.
Now, I believe this part is important here, and I will be expanding on it later in the video, but I just want to make it clear that Daniel should not have been mentioned in anyone's videos about the situation, including Lex.
Okay.
Because it was a part of multiple stories that I was summarizing in my video, I, of course, decided to include it as valuable information, but the purpose of my video on Supermega was to highlight the stories that were told, not give my own personal story on the situation. Bringing up Daniel was purely part of reporting that story. It was not a personal feeling.
Reporting that story. But you only ever started... Don't use neutral terms like reporting, okay? You were asked by your buddies to make videos that benefit them. Okay? Don't act like you're doing journalism, okay? Stop it.
That I had against Supermega. Again, I'll touch on this more, but I'll complete the summary first. After these videos came out, I posted another video that summarized Matt and Ryan's videos at length, including the evidence they brought forward debunking some of the claims that were made. Now, I included all this information that was given by both parties in these videos, and I talked about deflections made by Matt and Ryan that attempted to discredit the victim in the story and anyone who was willing to talk about their actions. Now, on the other hand, I talked about mistakes that were made by Layden that ended up doing damage to the victim and her story. Lex publicly stated that she was not happy with Layden's actions and the way he handled the story, and from what I know, they are not on speaking terms anymore.
He didn't. So wait, hold on. Does that mean Layton's not going to be considered a victim by them anymore? I wonder what they're going to say. We have like a very complex, we have a victim hierarchy now, right? She's queen victim. Now Layton's been excommunicated from the Sisterhood of Victimhood. I don't know what happened to Dawn Despair. I actually have no idea.
Since then, there has been a narrative pushed by fans of Supermega, other YouTubers, and Supermega themselves that has fully embraced the conspiracy that there was an organized attempt to cancel Supermega, and
there was. We know there was. This isn't like some insane reptiles rule the earth conspiracy theory. This is a bunch of people who know each other and talk about this. All nearly simultaneously having talked about it, organized to cause damage. Like, what the f do you mean? Brother, Green is not Nick. You just told us Lex, close friend of Layton, who has stated that they change their behavior based on each other's feedback. If you remember, Lex posted about how Layton agreed to get off socials because she wanted him to stop putting out his messaging because it wasn't good for her or whatever. That's conspiring, dog. That means there's a conspiracy. My brother in Christ. Like, I guess it's not a conspiracy because she's such a fuck up that she couldn't keep it private. But if they'd successfully kept it private, it would have been a conspiracy. Now, Green is not Nick. To be fair, not so much behind it, just a puppet of it, because he did as he was asked by these people.
Now, I am one of the main people behind this attack. I want to be...
Yeah, you're not behind it. You're in front of it. You have the puppeteer's hand up your ass.
As straightforward as I can be here. You can look at my comments across social media on Instagram and YouTube to see the direct claims being made about me. And I also invite you to watch videos that are popularizing online about my role in this situation so you can come to your own unbiased conclusion.
Come to your own unbiased conclusion. What do you mean?
I made an effort to lessen the amount of harassment that was coming towards me and people around me from these videos, but I have not blocked any words.
What do you mean? What does that mean? I made an effort to lessen the amount of harassment coming towards me, but I have not blocked any words. Haven't suppressed any comments. Wait, what did you do then?
I have not suppressed anything in the comments of these videos, and you are free to comment whatever you want. It is anarchy down there. Today, I'm going to touch on these criticisms as candidly as I can. I have no agenda. I'm not a part of any organized attack to cancel YouTubers. I was not given...
You were asked to echo them. You wouldn't... At most, you can say you didn't know you were. At most, he doesn't know whether he is or not, if he's just doing what people have told him to do. That's the best he can say, which is pathetic. Also saying you have no agenda? Specify what agenda you don't have, because everyone has some kind of agenda.
Permission to make this video. I wrote the script. I edited it. Now, just because this video is coming out around the same time as some other creators are talking about Supermega, that does not mean there is a hidden agenda between people trying to ruin Supermega's channel. This video being made is not an effort to refuel the fire. Originally, I just wanted to do the best to respect the wishes of the victim in this situation and be quiet about it to try to lessen the...
You mean initially you wanted to obey the person who was ostensibly organizing to attack Supermega with other people, i.e. you were a tool in a conspiracy. It's not a grand conspiracy that ultimately matters to the world on any sort of scale, right? It's a little baby boo boo goo goo gaga conspiracy, but it is a conspiracy. Sorry, bro.
The amount of harassment happening, because I knew that talking about it would just result in more harassment against Lex and claims that her sexual assault was a flawed story used to harm the Supermega YouTube channel for clout and attention.
And overwhelmingly, most of her story wasn't about sexual assault. It was about Supermega not giving her enough stuff for free. They gave her lots for free. They gave her lodging for free. They offered to get her a place to stay for free. But it wasn't enough. Most of the story, bear in mind, he's like, oh, they're saying this sexual assault lady they're saying it's inaccurate and used to harm them. The alleged sexual assault itself, barely mentioned by her. Barely relevant at all.
This narrative became increasingly popular, taking over all of Lex's social media and resulting in her deleting anything online pertaining to Supermega or the sexual assault. This, of course, caused even more people to make the assumption that this whole story was a lie. And very recently, this narrative grew aggressively because of a statement given by Ryan McGee on Twitter talking about his feelings on Daniel being used in Lex and Layden's video, and also being used in my video reporting on their videos. Now, because of this,
your video reporting on their videos. You can't be fucking asked by a person to make a video and echo. Okay? You say you did something because you were told by a party to do it. You say all you wanted to do is echo what they were saying and support them. And then refer to what you were doing as reporting on their video. No. Stop. Wait, are likes and dislikes off? Or can I just not see it because I'm not signed in?
In his statement, he directly mentions me and tags my social media, claiming that I was exploiting Daniel's suicide by including what Layden and Lex said in my video. So why don't we talk about this criticism and others that have been made about me? I do think there are valid criticisms being made about my coverage in the story.
Coverage? It's not coverage.
But those criticisms are drowned in lies being spread about me and my intentions while reporting.
Those criticisms are drowned in lies. There are people correctly identifying things I've done wrong or that are wrong about me, but they're disqualified because other people are saying things that aren't true about me. Do people feel okay with themselves saying this? Normally, that's a kind of whataboutery that a fan would use. A fan would be like, you don't understand, the important part is the harassment. We can't deal with that until the harassment's dealt with, blah, blah, blah. You can't say of yourself, yeah, I did things wrong, they were fucked up. But they're sort of, look, they're drowned. Those criticisms that are accurate are drowned in lies, so
on this story. I want to talk about these criticisms pertaining to Daniel first. Now, there are about 30 seconds in each of my videos where I covered it as part of the story Lex was telling and when I talked about Supermega's response to these claims, and in no way is there any evidence of me making personal claims about my thoughts on Ryan and Matt's relationship with Daniel. I think it is very irresponsible to claim that Daniel was a major point made in either of my videos, and I do believe that Ryan used my name.
He thinks it's irresponsible to claim that Daniel was a major point made in either of your videos. You said your goal was just to echo and amplify what they were saying. The victims. You were trying to pass on what the victim said. It's not coverage. If you're doing that, you're adding your stamp of approval to it. Yes. Even though you're not the person to initially say it, you weren't covering it. You weren't reporting that that's what they said. Your goal was to echo it and spotlight it. Maybe Epstein had girls on that plane, but the issue here is the global warming caused by private jets? True. I do believe that Ryan used my name in his statement to try to discredit my story. But didn't you say you didn't include any of your own information? What do you mean?
And his statement to try to discredit my story in the way I reported it further. In my video, I directly quoted what was being said in a story I was covering, and I believe that it was necessary to point out that these claims have been made. And of course, I wanted to follow that up with what Supermega thought about those claims. After
Does he think, okay, let's say a newspaper publishes a copy of what was originally a press release from fucking North Korea, and the editor and the journalist who worked on it are like, yeah, we just really want to amplify their voice. You can't hold us responsible for what was published. We're covering the story. We're covering the story. It's just journalism. It's reporting. By the way, our goal is just to echo everything they say. No, you can't do both.
Reporting on this story in both of my videos, I will say that I believe Daniel's suicide should not have been a part of the story told by Lex and Layden. I do not think it was necessary information for anyone to include that in their personal story about Supermega. I do not believe that means that I should ignore and disregard any mention of Daniel in my story, so I include.
It's not your story. You literally said.
I said it in the first video, and I'll say it again. I wanted Lex's story to be told.
It's not your story. You were telling Lex's story. You were echoing it. You literally said that. It's not reporting. It's signal boosting. It's a retweet with your voice.
I will say I believe there is a difference between exploiting someone's suicide and including it as a part of someone's experience when making a video about the story. I'm sorry that I talked about Daniel in the video. I think it would have been worse for me to ignore it altogether, but I should have condemned it when it originally came up in Lex and Layden's story. Although I knew people personally involved in the story, I was still a third party who made this video summarizing Lex's story after it was posted, and I can firmly say that I had no part or decision in Daniel becoming a part of Lex or Layden's story.
Bro. Dog. Let me check something. Let me just double check something really quick regarding chronology. I think we've caught him, boys. Let me just double check something. Listen very carefully to what he says in this latest video.
Layden's story. Although I knew people personally involved in the story, I was still a third party who made this video summarizing Lex's story after it was posted, and I can firmly say
he made his video summarizing Lex's story after it was posted. Oh, so the story went up and then he just took from that. He had no input. He makes it sound like he had no opportunity to have any input. He made his video after hers was posted. Right. When did he get permission to echo her story? When do you think?
a couple of times, and it was always in a social setting. And when Lex was preparing her story,
When Lex was preparing her story,
I was given permission by her to cover it.
he got permission to cover it when she was preparing it. He had some degree of involvement in the strategy before her video was made. He only mentions in his newest video that I made my video after her video came out. He was already planning to make it before she'd made her video. He said he got permission while she was preparing hers. I wonder if he'll go into that in the newest video, because the presentation here makes it suspicious. Because here, it's like he's trying to make it seem like there's no way I could have had any involvement in it because I made mine just after her video came out. You were involved. There was some degree of discussion. Now, that doesn't mean he did discuss Daniel while she was preparing, but here it seems like he's trying to suggest he didn't have opportunity to, which when previously he'd made it known that he did have opportunity to, makes this suspicious.
That I had no part or decision in Daniel becoming a part of Lex or Layden's story. All of the videos about Supermega that I talked about in my video were made before I even started scripting the story.
Right. Hang on.
Part of Lex or Layden's story. All of the videos about Supermega that I talked about in my video were made before I even started scripting the story.
That doesn't mean you couldn't have had input into those videos. The videos were made before you started scripting, but you knew those videos were being made before they were made. This doesn't prove that you didn't have input into those, especially given what you've previously said. This is insanely suspicious. He must know that this is he too stupid to know that this doesn't prove? Like, even if all of this is true, that doesn't mean he didn't have input into their videos, especially when previously he's shown us that he had opportunity to have input into their videos. And now he's not mentioning that the point at which he got permission was when they were being made. Let me double check here again as well. He says in this video that Lex posted her story and then he was asked by her and Ethan to potentially talk about it. Hang on, remember we're on 8/26. Wait a second.
Online. Lex posted her story, and I was asked by her and Ethan to potentially talk about it on my channel.
Here, it's worse. It's worse. In this video, he says Lex posted it and then he was asked to cover it. In the previous video, he says,
and when Lex was preparing her story, I was given permission by her to cover it.
Originally, he says, when Lex was preparing her story, he was given permission. In this new video, he says, after it was out, and she'd made the video and published it, then they both approached him to ask him to make a video. No, this is messed up. This is fucked. This is an insanely massive change of story. He's lying. Full stop. That's such a massive lie that I don't think I can believe anything else he's saying about it. It's possible that he didn't have involvement during the planning. That he could have just been told it was being planned and had nothing further to say. Wasn't told anything. Had no influence. No. With this massive of a change of story, you're hiding something. Sorry, dog.
Story, and I think that the belief that I am heavily tied to the situation and that I brought Daniel's suicide up for no reason.
You are heavily tied to the situation. You were asked by the supposed victim to make a video and you did. That's a direct connection to the person making the original claim, dog. That is being heavily tied.
Is wrong.
Didn't he make a bunch of posts like celebrating the impact it would have on Supermega as well? Suggesting personal emotional investment?
Making claims that I used Ryan as a main point in my video or that I exploited his suicide for views on the Supermega story makes it very obvious that Ryan really never watched anything that I made on the situation. If he did, he would see that all mentions of Daniel in my video were quoted from himself, Matt, Lex, or Layden. After Ryan...
Yeah, dog. And you also said, I'm doing it because I want to signal boost them. Shut the fuck up.
And release this statement, I do believe that this talking point, among a few others, has now been used as a way to make wild claims against me and others, deflecting the multiple horrible actions that Supermega has made in order...
Which ones?
To spread the conspiracy that I made a hit piece on Matt and Ryan for attention and clout.
That's not a conspiracy. Wait. The conspiracy that you made a hit piece on them for attention and clout? Conspiracy between who? That would just be you doing that. Does this guy not know what a conspiracy is? I think he just literally doesn't know what a conspiracy is. Or am I retarded? You can't conspire alone, can you?
Even if it may have just been a few, I have seen multiple creators and artists on the internet publicly standing up for Supermega and using the mention of Daniel to deny all of the accusations against Matt and Ryan. I have seen creators who have firsthand experienced the backlash of telling a story as a victim online who are now backing up Supermega as if they both didn't fully admit to covering up their friend and employee sexually assaulting another one of them.
Fully admit to covering up their friend and employee sexually assaulting another one of them? What did they do to cover it up? Is he going to show us that when did they say they did that? Or what did they say they did that he considers that?
Their friends. There is verifiable proof that after Supermega finally let Don go, they didn't tell their fans the reasoning for firing him.
That's not covering something up. That's not a cover-up, dog.
After weeks of questions about his disappearance from the channel, there is...
Right. They were told by Lex not to spread it everywhere, right? Yeah, what Outright is saying. I believe they even brought this up in their response. They were told by the alleged victim not to.
Also evidence that Don asked people publicly about housing in Los Angeles, and that Supermega fans offered places for Don to stay.
I get this has. We know they covered it up because Don asked people about housing and people offered him places to stay. It's non sequitur.
Under the impression that he was still on good terms with Supermega, and definitely under the impression that he was not a sex offender. There is evidence that Ryan was publicly liking Don's tweets weeks after he was let go.
Liking someone's tweets doesn't cover up information either. What do you mean?
For assaulting someone at Matt's house. Ryan has admitted to sexting fans he met online and has agreed that his actions are not worthy of the platform he has.
Okay. How does that cover up Don's actions? What is he... Okay.
It is embarrassing, the kind of people that have been standing publicly with Supermega when it has been very clear that they are not above denouncing the hate that Lex is receiving.
They are not above denouncing the hate that Lex is receiving. This guy's absolutely pants on head retarded. Not above denouncing the hate Lex is receiving. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And he's reading from a script. Does he know what denouncing means? They're not above saying hate towards Lex is bad. What?
Because of things they said in their videos. Regardless of Layden's role in the story, Matt and Ryan will not stop anyone from claiming that everything that happened in Lex's story was a lie.
Sorry, let me...
Regardless of Layden's role in the story, Matt and Ryan will not stop anyone from claiming that everything that happened in Lex's story was a lie.
Are they the morality police? What do you mean? Why is it their job to go around the internet telling people off? No, you can't call Lex a liar. These people haven't dedicated their lives to Lex Updog. What the fuck? And indeed, as Nicandros points out, they specifically pointed to elements of her story where they were like, yeah, we should have done this differently, we should have done that differently, blah, blah, blah. They've posted a video corroborating parts of her story. But, yeah, it would be demented to expect them to go around the internet stopping people from saying things about Lex Updog. Could they even do that? I don't think so.
Matt and Ryan are well aware of how their audience is responding to this. They see how dishonest the claims are about Lex, myself, and many others. They can say they care about lifting Lex's voices up, and they can say that they are sorry about what they did to her, but it has become very obvious.
Yeah, I had to say Lex's voices because she has multiple in her head, apparently.
That they do not care how their audience is responding to this. I invite people who are watching my video, who are fans of my channel, to read the comments and really think about how this should be handled. We are currently...
Read the comments? Bro, it's a bunch of people calling you a slimy scumfuck. I invite you to read the comments. All you had to do was take accountability. What the hell is this? Nick, they did not cover up anything. Lex asked them to keep it private. You keep saying there wasn't a formal conspiracy, but you, Ethan, is online and Lex are all friends, and they both even asked you to make a video on it. Saying there was no coordination on it isn't honest. Here's the thing. I'm very glad to see commenters who have 2 brain cells. Very good. Problem. Nick doesn't know what a conspiracy is. He thinks it's just like a general word you use to say something is negative. He doesn't understand that organizing secretly to do something, especially something with a negative effect, is conspiracy. I think he just doesn't know that.
Currently watching the repeat offense of thousands of people clawing for reasons to defend a YouTuber they like or a friend that they have in their life. And I am sure that many...
Sorry, what?
This should be handled. We are currently watching the repeat offense of thousands of people clawing for reasons to defend a YouTuber they like or a friend that they have in their life. And
That's what you're doing. That's what you said you're doing. Am I wrong? That's what you're doing. That's what you said you're doing. You said you're doing that. Strange. Chat can borrow a couple of my brain cells. They're burnt out, but, you know, might be able to get a spark out of them to save yourself in the wilderness. Start a fire.
I'm sure that many of you are still unsure about how you feel after reading the countless comments of people calling me a liar and claiming that I posted about this situation in malice towards Supermega. And so I want to briefly touch on some major comments being made about...
Hold on. Are you telling me he's... People are still commenting about malice towards Supermega. Let me check something. You know what? Did this guy wait so long to make a video so that the YouTubers who talk about this will have a hard time digging everything up again? I want to find the... I believe... Nick is Not Green had some demented Instagram posts celebrating, like, yo, Supermega's f***ed, oh, let's go. I don't mean me and Chud Logic. Weren't there much bigger YouTubers talking about this? I'm gonna embarrass you at this party. Yeah. Words. Well, I don't know how to find it. Alright. Okay.
me and give you my thoughts. There are a lot of people theorizing the secret reasons that I must have had to make this video in bad faith to cancel Supermega, and I think a lot of them are very dumb arguments. One claim that I continue to see being made is that I capitalized on a suicide for clout. Daniel was far from the main thing I talked about in my video and was not a major part of the story at all in any way. And if you watched any of the videos, you would agree with that. The claim that I am...
If you watched any of the videos, you would agree with that.
Capitalizing on anything in these videos is also an argument that is very obviously being done in bad faith. I cover stories on the internet 3 times a week as my job. I covered Supermega's story in 2 different videos, neither of which were monetized or advertised on because I did not feel that was appropriate.
You were asked by the subject of your story to make the story. Your video is essentially an ad.
For me to profit on a story like this. I didn't make any money reporting on this story, and my only objective for posting about it was to talk about a story that I felt was important. Another reason...
Your only objective was to talk about a story that you felt was important. Does he have... Is he in a fugue state where there are 2 different Green is Not Nicks? Is there one of him who thinks he's covering a story and the other one who's like, I'm making this video because I was asked to echo the video of my friends?
People are calling me a liar is because they think that I'm friends with Layden and that this was a part of his plan to cancel Super...
You're friends with Lex. And Ethan is not online. Do you understand? There's not... Oh, her connection there. Doesn't matter. Look, she asked me to make this video. She was talking with Layton about how they should present their stuff, how they should conduct themselves online effectively. They even fell out over how Layton presented things regarding Supermega. You don't think there is any Layton influence via Lex? Even without conspiracy, that's stupid.
Supermega. I didn't talk to Layden about making this video about Supermega. I didn't even know that...
You don't need to. You didn't need to, you fucking moron. You didn't even need to know that Layton was influencing you.
That Layden was going to speak out about Supermega when I started scripting my video about Lex's story. I am not friends with Layden. I do not hang out, and I have never conspirized with him.
Conspirized? He's never conspirized. He does not hang out with Layton, by the way. I do not hang out with Layton.
In any of this situation, I've had 0 contact with him. I am not a close friend of Layden's. I've only hung out with him a couple of times, and it was always in a social setting.
Oh, he doesn't hang out with him except when he does, socially. Okay.
Against Supermega. And if you ask anybody that I know in real life, you'd know that I don't like Layden. I have had negative interactions.
Now... Are you going to say, now that Lex doesn't like him, you don't like him? Am I about right?
With Layden in the past.
Wait, you don't hang out with him, you say here? In the past, you said you've hung out with him a couple times socially. Now you're saying you've had negative interactions with him. What do you mean? All of them.
Yet I still reported on his word because he was a reputable source as
Okay.
someone who previously worked with Supermega and was let go. I came to find out that Layden was not a reputable source at all, and I covered that in my follow-up video.
What does he think reputable means? He thought Leighton had a good reputation and then found out that Leighton didn't have a good reputation.
About Supermega. The claims Layden made were not at all accurate, and I regret.
What? Right. A reputable source can get things wrong. Is this another? He doesn't know or understand? I thought he was reputable, but now I know he's not reputable because he got something wrong. No. Does he have a good track record and good reputation? If he does, he's reputable, even if he makes like one mistake. Is reputable code for just good? To this guy, conspiracy just sort of means kind of bad. Reputable just means kind of good. No, they have specific meanings, words. Fuck me.
Regret not denouncing them even more than I did in my previous video. I am sorry that I did not dispel more of what Layden said specifically in his video about Supermega, but I can now say that Layden did nothing but hurt Lex's story, and I think
Layden did nothing but hurt Lex's story. Yeah, but he's allegedly a victim as well. See what I mean about victim hierarchy? She's queen victim. Layton claims that he was sexually abused by Supermega. Like, are we just going to ignore that? Layton claims that one of them, which one was it? Matt or Ryan? Busted in on him in the toilet and was like taking pictures of his cock. Layton claims to be a victim of sexual abuse directly by Supermega. What happened to wanting to like amplify victims' voices or whatever? Right? He was sexually harassed.
I think if given the chance,
Allegedly,
Lex would say the same. Regardless of her personal feelings on Layden, people comment, insult, and degrade these stories as though this means that everything reported is completely invalid. I know that people will continue to relentlessly claim otherwise, but
do you think Nick would say he doesn't believe Layton's? Now that he's fallen out with Lex, is he going to say like Layton's story is wrong?
I do not have any ulterior motive for my videos made on Supermega. I do not have any reason.
So, do I need to check Supermega's response? In his initial video, so this is his second video, this one here. In his first video, did he tell us that he was asked to?
Hey everyone, hope you're having a good...
Because if he didn't, guess what? By telling us that he was asked to, he's admitted to having had an ulterior motive. Asked. Lex asked Matt and Ryan. Asked doesn't show it. Permission. Right. Okay. Little language lesson again. An ulterior motive is when you have an unrevealed true reason for doing something, right? For instance, you might make a video covering a situation as if you're doing it because it's your job, as green is not Nick. But then later it turns out that actually you did it because the subjects of the video asked you to. Now, this guy came out and said that himself, but as far as I'm aware, he doesn't tell you that in the initial video. So, not only is it false for him to say that there was never any ulterior motive, he admitted it. So, fuck you.
To want them to get canceled, nor do I think they should suffer
no reason to want to get them cancelled. Like, what about what they did to your friends? Sorry. I have no reason to want to get them cancelled. By the way, I believe they abused a victim of rape. I don't know, brother.
Existence from the internet because of this situation.
Like, if you're pro-cancellation, what would it take if not that?
I completely leave the fate of whether or not Supermega decides to be on the internet in their own hands. There's obviously a large group of people who still support Supermega and are willing to watch them online, so I don't think it is a problem for them when it comes to being canceled. They even still have their Patreon up and are asking people to subscribe for content that happened before they got canceled. And Don, the person who actually sexually assaulted Lex, continues to have a Patreon as well. But based off their reaction and the way that they turned the narrative on their friend who was assaulted in Matt's house, allegedly, I fully believe that Matt and Ryan support the conspiracy that Lex's video is nothing but a hit piece on...
Support the conspiracy? You mean believe the conspiracy theory? And we know they don't, because in their response, they agreed with parts of what she said. So obviously not. They might believe there are elements of that. They definitely do, regarding Leighton. But they can't believe it's nothing but that, because they said some of it is accurate, or they agree that some of what they did is wrong. So that it can't be nothing but a hit piece in their eyes.
Them to ruin their career. Another claim being made about me is that I made my video about Supermega for clout and attention. If you look at my channel, especially right before I made my videos on Supermega, you'll see that I don't need or want clout or attention from them. My TikTok drama audience does not overlap with a dying Let's Play channel. And
but does it overlap with Ethan is not online or Lex? Potentially. You already collab with Ethan. And you were asked by him. Clout doesn't have to come directly from the video itself, right? You could be doing it as a favor to people or to maintain a mutually beneficial relationship. That would still be doing it for clout, even if it wasn't to, you know, ride the algorithm or whatever he's suggesting it would be. Or pull over Supermega's audience. No. It's more complex than that.
When I initially posted these videos about Supermega, as expected, they did not perform as well as my normal videos. I wasn't making money off the videos, and there was no reason to believe that these videos would somehow help my career.
Maybe not purely through analytics. Maybe through interested parties. I don't know.
Most of the attention that I've gotten on those videos has been from people harassing me after being sent to my channel by Ryan and by other...
Sent by Ryan. Damn.
YouTubers who are making 3-hour rants about why Lex's experience getting assaulted is a lie made up for attention.
Based.
I am absolutely not a stranger to hate campaigns like this. I have dealt with months of hate following my coverage on stories like Sneeko or Gus Johnson, both situations where I was harassed endlessly for uplifting the voices of victims who are attacked just...
God, this guy is Christ risen again. What a hero, what a martyr. People saying things in the comment section. Holy shit.
Just like this. It is a never-failing pattern that every time a victim speaks up, their words are dissected and ripped apart by people who want to find any reason to believe that the creator they love is not deeply flawed. I personally do believe that there were a lot of missteps that were taken when speaking out about Matt and Ryan.
Okay, why? Oh, did you go over everything and tear it apart to figure that out? Perhaps? Mayhaps?
I think that Lex's video was long and that she spoke about her experience emotionally because of everything that happened to her and the way that her life seemingly fell apart after being sexually assaulted by a friend of
her. Life didn't fall apart. She got free accommodation for a long-ass time. What do you mean? That's not your life falling apart. She got an expensive-ass car. There are people whose lives fall apart after that. Not hers. Not really.
Hers. I don't think that she's in the wrong for that, regardless of the way that people use that as a way to discredit her story. I also believe that I could have done a better job in reporting this story.
Wait, people try to say her story's wrong because it's long? I don't think they do. Do they?
I was told by people close to me that these things happened with Matt and Ryan, and I would agree with my initial reaction claiming that they are horrible people. I believe looking back that this title was reactionary, and I disagree.
Stop using words when you don't know what they mean! Please! Yeah, I'm a reactionary. I believe Supermega are bad people. Stop. Stop it. Stop.
with using the specific language in my initial video, and I'm sorry for that. I do not think Matt and Ryan are defined by this experience, nor do I think they are incapable of learning from it and growing to be better examples for their audience.
Grow, yeah. In future, realize that if you hire a woman, you're going to get fucked and then have to look after her for the rest of your life. They can learn, do not hire OnlyFans holes. Simple.
I still stand by my initial opinions on Matt and Ryan's responses, and I don't believe they should be praised or defended as if they are innocent at all in this situation.
As if they're innocent at all? There's no element they're innocent of. And yet you think some of the criticism of them or comments about them are flawed. How can both be true? The attacks of them are flawed. The attacks on them have flaws, I admit it. But they're not in any way at all innocent of anything that's said. Then what's the flaw in the... Does he mean they're just purely rhetorically flawed, but not in content? Like...
Matt Watson and Ryan McGee put their audience at risk and lied to the people who watched them because they knew it would negatively affect their image.
Put their audience at risk by not accusing someone of rape. Right. On the basis that people would let a stranger... They put people at risk because those mental cases who would have taken in a random editor or whatever he was for Supermega, they were going to take him into their house. Matt and Ryan put people willing to take a strange internet weirdo into their house at risk. That would require, I believe, that if Don had not been accused, it would be safe to do that. It's not. They'd still be at risk.
If you do not agree with me on that, then...
Also, overwhelmingly, I thought this guy was meant to be a feminist or something. Aren't overwhelmingly sexual attacks between people who know each other? It's not really relevant that if he did something to his girlfriend, it's not really relevant to a random person that he did something. Additionally, presumably not all the people who'd offer him a place to stay were even female. Maybe he's also a gay rapist. I don't know, but I'm just saying. I feel like you have to be more specific. You can't just say, he put people at risk. Did Matt and Ryan do anything to coerce these fans into offering to let this man stay in their house? No. Not that I'm aware of.
I do not think that...
Additionally, that would mean Lex is also guilty of putting people at risk by not telling them. That would mean Lex is double guilty because she didn't make it known, and she told Supermega not to make it known. Curious. But it's probably the meme where, like, if you're an alleged victim of something, that gives you like a shield. You can then do as much as you fucking want wrong, and no standard applies to you in any way.
You should watch or consume my content. It is gross the way that people have claimed innocence for Matt and Ryan, and I hope all of you take a good look at the way you watch them because they knew it would negatively affect their image. If you do not agree with me on that, then I do not think that you should watch or consume my content. It is gross the way that people...
You shouldn't watch something if you don't agree on a certain point. It's this demented approach to consuming media. Again. Insane. Why not? It's media you published. Why should anyone not watch it?
Have claimed innocence for Matt and Ryan, and I hope all of you take a good look at the way...
Claimed? It's gross the way that people have claimed innocence for Matt and... Innocence? Of what? Of conspiring to cover up rape? There's evidence that they didn't.
Everyone is reacting to this story before continuing to support the creators you watch and enjoy. None of this means that people should be attacking Lex and the people around her as if this was a proven, calculated attack to use Lex's assault as a way to cancel some YouTubers. It disappoints me that people who watch my channel would buy into the idea that I would risk my career and safety to ruin someone else's YouTube channel. Another claim that is being made about me is that I made my initial video without looking at
What? Risking his career and safety. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Retrogoon. How was he... What did he think would have happened? You've done all the things to make sure you're not taking a risk. You've gone, I'm just supporting a victim. You're safe. You're safe on YouTube, bro. You're still safe on YouTube.
The evidence or letting Supermega speak about their side on the issue. If you know my channel, especially at that time, I was posting constantly and I was always trying to be the quickest one to get to a story.
You were also told to do it.
Followed up Lex's story and gave it a couple days to see what happened, and in that video I said that I would be immediately following up with a new video after Ryan and Matt give their response to the situation. After they responded...
In fact, you were planning to make your video before she'd even made her video, is what you said in your second video.
I immediately scripted and put together my second video on the situation, which is even longer than the first video. I put it out a couple days later, and I was careful not to mince words on what Matt and Ryan thought about this controversy. I did not hide anything they said. Since then, there have been constant claims that have been made, acting as if I never...
Also, he's saying he pumps out stuff constantly. He's always on the ball. He's on top of stuff. You've already told us you did it because you were asked to. You did it because you were asked to. This explanation of why what happened doesn't make sense if you did it because you were asked to. You didn't do it because, you know, you just cover things fast. No, you can't say this after all the other stuff you've said.
Ever followed up on this situation, even though my video on their responses was even more detailed than the video I made about Lex's story. Regardless, almost every comment I've seen acts as if I've never reported on what happened after.
Yeah, they're just YouTube comments, dude. There's probably someone like writing some sort of anime incest fanfic down here. YouTube comments aren't worth much more than a chuckle, okay? No offense to YouTube comment enjoyers and writers.
Matt and Ryan responded. So much of the criticism I have received from making these videos has been from people who never took the time to watch any of the videos I made about the situation.
So? Even if that's true, so what? What? And therefore, what?
And it becomes increasingly more obvious that they took the word of people deflecting from the truth rather than actually watching all of the videos involved.
Name 10.
You cannot watch a video from another creator or even from Matt and Ryan claiming that I am a liar without even watching the content that I made in the first place.
Watch me! What do you mean you cannot? Of course they can. You wouldn't be complaining if they watched your shit and Lex's shit and never watched Matt and Ryan, right?
Is the definition of attacking someone in bad faith, and I do believe that I looked at...
That is absolutely not the definition of attacking someone in bad faith. That could be, you know, having... to use the term faith, having too much faith in the person you watched first. That's not doing your due diligence, perhaps. I don't hold YouTube comments to much of a standard, though. However, if this is the definition of bad faith, what is this guy spitting something out before the obvious response came out? He knew, obviously, Supermega would probably respond, and he hair-triggered shit it out. Right? How much different is that? It's a little bit different in that his videos already existed, but if that's the definition of bad faith, what he's doing would be like a secondary definition. A less common definition.
All of their videos and reported on them as accurately as I could. As I've always said, I want someone in bad faith, and I do believe that I looked at all of their videos and reported on them as accurately as I could.
Accurately as you could, given your self-imposed rush. Not as accurately as you could. You could have waited.
As I've always said, I want the people who watch my videos to come to their own conclusion. Watch my videos on Supermega, but also watch their videos and watch the videos of people constantly criticizing
You have to watch literally every video. You have to watch every video on YouTube before you can comment on any single video on YouTube. It is known. Did you know you have to listen to every word Mr. Dr. Peterson has ever said before you can criticize his haircut? You wouldn't understand the context.
Me and saying that I am acting in complete dishonesty. Now, if I were to go back and change anything, I do think I should have waited until Matt and Ryan responded to everything before talking about it. In hindsight,
probably. If you wanted to, here's the thing. If you want to say that what you're doing is reporting, is covering a story, yeah, but you're not. It goes deeper than that. If you want to take this path and say I do things right, what you should have done to begin with is like heavily disclosed that you're basically a shill for your friend. Immediately, boldly, initially. Don't, and then never paint it as covering a story.
That is a big mistake that I will not be making in the future, and I'm sorry for that. I like to report on news as quickly
as I can.
And I did so with both my videos in this case, but specifically with this story, I should have absolutely waited on a response by Supermega and made one big video about it rather than separating both stories.
This tells me that he wants influence to do stuff to people, right? Do you know what I mean? In that he's not content to be viewed as like some drama scrubbing pig, which is of course what I am when I look at these things. He wants to be viewed as if he's covering things, doing journalism in some way, which means he wants that weight behind what he says, while also being trash.
And I am very sorry to everybody involved for making that mistake. I definitely need to take a look at my content and look at the way that I can impact other people as a result of telling my stories. This situation has told me that I need to take a lot more care when it comes to reporting these stories, and I will not make that mistake in the future, and I apologize. After thinking about how to address this for a while, I decided to unlist both my videos about Supermega to diffuse as much harassment as I can.
Okay, man. That is huge bullshit. Do you know what the half-life of a YouTube video is? It's like fucking, unless your shit gets scooped up on a 1 in a million chance by the algorithm years later, it's fuck all time. Your video gets half of its lifetime views so fast. Those videos aren't sending anyone anywhere. Not now. You just don't want it to be as easily accessed, as noticeable. They have to come here and then understand what is in the links down here now.
And hopefully put this situation to rest. I'm going to link both unlisted videos in the description, so there is still a way to access and watch them, but I do not want the public to come across them anymore because of the way that it has affected everyone. I believe Lex is going to publicly talk about all of these claims in the near future.
I believe Lex is gonna, just saying it like he's fucking Nostradamus. I pondered my orb and I think Lex is gonna talk about it next. Come on. What are you...
future, so some questions that were made directly towards her and her story should be answered there. But again, our social media accounts are not controlled the same way. I am not in consistent communication with her, and I am not associated with how she goes about telling her story.
What in the fuck is this bizarro section? Sorry. What? Our social media accounts are not controlled the same way. I don't even know what that means. Like, you use your phone, she uses a computer? What do you mean? Not controlled. I am not in consistent communication with her, but you are in communication with her. He's a drama YouTuber, Despair. I need to hear that again.
Affected everyone. I believe Lex is going to publicly talk about all of these claims in the near future, so some questions that were made directly towards her and her story should be answered there. But again, our social media accounts are not controlled the same way. I am not in consistent communication with her, and I am not associated with how she goes about telling her story.
I am not associated with the way that she tells her story. I am not associated with the way she tells her story.
Come across this video and
He's okay. He's ESL, yes? I think I just pegged the problem. Like, English isn't his first language.
You look at everything and you feel like you want to stop watching the channel, that is your decision. And if you want to keep watching me and you want to keep seeing what I'm doing, I'll be back on Monday.
Nice, let's go. Fun. Greenest Snotnik. What we got in terms of comments, though? The comments are good. We already had the teaser. The comments are pretty nice. What we got? It's hilarious how he is quick to call criticism harassment when him and his friends actively celebrated the backlash and verbally attacked Matt and Ryan. Says commenter Neil deGrasse Tyson. Do you want to know something insane? This guy's profile picture is Neil deGrasse Tyson with an edited little knife. This is my edit from years and years ago. I made the Neil deGrasse Tyson with knife edit, and it's really bad. And I think it may have even been Snopes. I made this, I posted it on Twitter, it spread everywhere. Spread everywhere. Tons of people used it. Yeah. There is also there's a Bernie Sanders with a sign that says no refunds that I made. They went everywhere. The Nintendo tweet I did steal, but I'm owed one. I'm owed one. It truly isn't that hard to take accountability for the things you've said and done. No. Here's the thing, though. Just like Nick being trash, so are the commenters. Who fucking cares if your drama YouTuber takes accountability? To what end? What does he do by... What function does him taking accountability? Phil, did you have faith in him as a truth teller before? Is he restoring your trust in him? Why the fuck are you trusting a drama YouTuber? To begin with, that shouldn't be something he can restore because he shouldn't have it. I have never watched Supermega. However, I used to enjoy your content, Nick, but through learning about this case, my opinion has become pretty clear. You did something fucked, so I don't enjoy your videos anymore. Okay. Ooh, Little Green Monster got him. Little Green Monster got him. You cannot frame yourself as an activist for sexual assault victims, while also claiming Supermega should have outed Lex's story in the name of saying abusers are bad. Lex herself spoke out about how uncomfortable it was to even speak in private about her experience. Like, they've got him. What can he say about that? The only thing he can do is talk to Lex and convince her to say the reason she felt uncomfortable speaking out is because they didn't do it themselves. If they just did it, that would have given her the strength to do it. It's bullshit, but might help with that line. This is doubling down, true, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the comments are insanely high standard for YouTube. Not insanely high standard in general, right? But insanely highly above the standard of YouTube, I should say. Right. It's the Green is Not Nick video. The new one. Looks like we've got a Lex video to look forward to. 2.